we are going to be replicating what an ocean depth looks like inside a jar. We will show all the different layers that replicate what the ocean actually looks like, with the twilight zones, the abyss, the trenches, everything like that. And we will be doing that using these ingredients. So we have some corn syrup, dish soap, plain water, we have canola oil or vegetable oil, and isopropyl alcohol with varying food colors. The bottom of the ocean is known as the trenches, and this is up to about 20,000 to 36,000 feet below the surface. So we are going to replicate that using corn syrup and dark blue food coloring. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna put about 3/4 cup of corn syrup, or about 1/5 of whatever size your jar is that you're using. Now, since the trenches is the darkest part of the ocean, it's almost pitch black, we're gonna put a lot of dark blue food coloring in there. I'm just gonna mix it up. If you need to add more dark blue to make it as dark as possible, because there's virtually no sunlight that ever sees this part of the ocean. Then you will just transfer it into the mason jar. If you would like, you can also use a funnel to complete this step. Next, we have the abyssal zone. This is about 14,000 feet to 20,000 feet and lies just above the trenches zone. Now, in the abyssal zone, very few creatures live here, but we do have tiny squid and starfish that live in this zone. So to replicate this, we are going to use the same amount as we did for the trenches, but of dish soap. And since it is already tinted orange, we're just gonna add 1 drop of blue to try to make it a purple color. It's definitely lighter than the trenches zone, which is good, that's what we want. So we're going to slowly add it into the mason jar. You don't want to break the surface of the trenches layer. You want it to rest on top because of the differing densities. The trenches oil should be on bottom because it was cornstarch, which has a higher density. And since dish soap has a lighter density, it will sit on top of the trenches layer. Like so. Midnight zone. This is from 3,200 feet to 13,000 feet. And in this zone, the only light that's being produced is from the fish that live in this zone. So to replicate this layer, we are going to use water. We're going to add 1 drop of green and mix it up. As you can see, we are starting to see layer separations. We have the dark trenches, the abyssal zone, and then this is the midnight era, the little green. Not much light coming in this area. We have the twilight zone. This is from about 700 feet to 3,200 feet, and this is the farthest depths that a person has ever free dived to. Deeper fish live in this area, and they go down deeper to feed on smaller fish that live within the deeper trenches or zones. We are going to replicate this by using vegetable oil. And since oil doesn't mix very well with food coloring, we are just going to simulate it by having it be yellow. Our last layer of our ocean jar is going to be our sunlight layer. This is actually the top layer of the ocean that most people see. It's from the top down to 700 feet. In the sunlight layer, this is where most marine life live, and this is where most people have scuba dived, free dived, anything like that. We are going to replicate that with isopropyl alcohol because it is the least dense of all the fluids we have used thus far today. We're going to add 1 drop of blue. Just 1 because it is very light since this is where the sun hits. Voila, here's our ocean.